It is now 8:30 a.m. In Australia. I am delighted to welcome all shareholders and observers to this annual general meeting of Zelira Therapeutics Limited. For those that don't know me, I am Osagie Imasogie, Zelira's chairman. The other directors present today are Dr. Oludare Odumosu, our CEO and managing director, and he is participating virtually. Tim Slate, our non-executive director and company secretary, who is in person in our offices in Perth. Greg Blake, our executive director, who's also in person in our offices in Perth. Dr. Donna Gentile O'Donnell, our non-executive director, who's also participating virtually. Also present today is a representative from our auditors, HLB Mann Judd, and Wendy Turner from our share registry, CompuShare. I will ask all those present to note that the shareholders register is available for inspection and that the proxies affecting today's resolutions are tabled and are also available for inspection. There is a quorum present, and I declare the meeting open. Today's meeting is being held as a hybrid meeting, in person and also online via the CompuShare meeting platform. This allows shareholders, proxies, and guests who cannot attend in person to attend the meeting virtually. All attendees can watch a live webcast of the meeting. In addition, shareholders and proxies have the ability to ask questions and submit votes. Online attendees can submit questions at any time during the presentation. To ask a question, if you are here in person, please raise your hand and state your name, and then put your question to me as the chair of the meeting. I may ask the appropriate person to respond to your question. Those online, select the Q&A icon, type your question into the text box. Once you have finished typing, please hit the send button. Please note that while you can submit online questions from now on, I will not address them until the relevant time in the meeting. Please also note that your questions may be moderated, or if we receive multiple questions on one topic, amalgamated together. To ask a verbal question, please follow the instructions written below the broadcast. Voting today will be conducted by way of a poll on all items of business. I will shortly open voting for all resolutions. For those online, if you are eligible to vote, once voting opens, press the vote icon and all resolutions will be activated with voting options. To cast your vote, simply select one of the options. There is no need to hit a submit or enter button as the vote is automatically recorded. You will receive a vote confirmation notification on your screen. For those present in the room, please complete your poll card as we run through the resolutions. All shareholders, proxies, and attorneys of shareholders will have received a green poll card before entering today's meeting. If you did not have a green poll card and feel that you should, please raise your hand now, and CompuShare staff member will assist you. In accordance with ASX listing rules, voting on this resolution will be conducted by a poll. For those online, you can change your vote up until the time voting is declared closed. I now declare voting open on all items of business. No apologies have been received. The notice convening this meeting was dated the 16th of October, 2023, and if there are no objections, we will take the notice of meeting as read. All right. So we have achieved meaningful progress over the financial year 2023 with key milestones highlighting the importance of our launch, learn, and develop strategy and underpinning our multiple shots on goal approach. We entered new global markets, receiving formal approval of Zenobol by B Farm in Germany, a key launch milestone for our business, allowing us for the first time to make Zenobol available to a market outside of Australia. We raised the bar under our learn phase of our launch, learn, and develop strategy. by setting a new benchmark for clinical validation via the IRB-approved diabetic nerve drug trial that we conducted. For the first time, we evaluated our cannabinoid-based medicine against an established pharmaceutical frontline therapy with positive findings showing that Zelira's drug materially outperformed a major multi-billion-dollar big pharma drug, Lyrica, as an effective treatment for diabetic nerve pain management. We have also been strategic with capital management and partnership decisions to support the progression of our clinical work. We established the HOPE-1 SPV and welcomed several new significant investors into the vehicle, which has now enabled us to begin the formal FDA clinical trials for HOPE-1. Looking ahead, we enter the next financial year with a high level of excitement for the prospects that we have as a company. Our launch, learn, and develop strategy ensures that we can accelerate our cannabinoid-based medicines with a high degree of confidence. I would like to introduce our Managing Director and CEO, Dr. Oludare Odumosu. Oludare will provide a more detailed overview of the milestones achieved and key priorities, followed by an opportunity for shareholders to ask questions. Oludare, would you be kind enough to give us your presentation?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. It's an honor to be here today once again, and I welcome all of our shareholders from across the world. I am very pleased and honored to serve as the Global MD for Zelira Therapeutics as we highlight some of the achievements in the 2023 financial year, and as we look on with excitement to the priorities in the coming months that really drive value and continue to validate our multiple shots and goals strategy as a company. Next slide, please. This slide, the previous slide was our disclaimer slide and our important notice statement for future notices. Next slide, please. As Mr. Chairman highlighted, we are, as a company, are very excited. Why? Between 2020 and 2023, our company focused very strategically on launching products across multiple therapeutic areas that have a very unique clinical prospect and market energy to be drugs or products that have that meet a real market need. We did that very specifically through a very unique strategy: launch, learn, and develop, which you've heard a lot, and I will be speaking a bit on. I'm very excited to say to you that in 2023, we were able to achieve quite a bit of excitement around that strategy. And I'm just going to touch on a few of them. Also, in this financial year, we were able to be very, very strategic about our use of funds, attract new investors to the company, raise additional funds into the company, receive monies into the company. And all of this allowed us to achieve the things we did in 2023 and to look with excitement into 2024. I am, over the next few slides, going to highlight some of those achievements to really crystallize why we remain a very, very excited company, while we remain a laser-focused company around our strategy to develop, clinically validate, and rapidly commercialize cannabinoid-based medicines into global markets. Next slide, please. First off, I want to highlight with excitement that one of the milestones of 2023 for us in this year is that we set out to move into a phase of clinical FDA trials for one of our group of assets, the HOPE-1 drug, by setting up a special purpose vehicle to attract funds into our company. And in doing this, we were successful in not only setting up the company, but attracting commitments in terms of funds and closing, achieving a first close and receiving cash to be able to initiate that process. This has allowed us to, as I said, be strategic about how we attract funds and how we deploy it within the company to drive the FDA HOPE trials. Within that particular vehicle, we have received significant commitments to the tune of over $11 million. And we expect to continue to announce subsequent closes and bring that information to you, our shareholders, in the coming months. It is also very important, and one of the reasons we're also excited is not only have we set up this entity to drive these trials, we've also done something very unique. The drug that will be used in the trial and the drug we hope to bring to market is not only in a form that is well understood, in a format that is that is familiar with both clinicians and with patients and families, but it also allows us to transition some of our assets using our in-house proprietary Zelira technology, which allows us to capture and convert cannabinoid into free-flowing powder and allows us to make pharmaceutical-grade capsules. We're excited to use that for this drug format as well as apply it to our other group of assets within the company. Next slide, please. One of the other things that excited us in this financial year 2023, and as we look forward, is that at the close of 2022, we announced with excitement that we had completely enrolled participants for our IRB-approved observational head-to-head study for our diabetic nerve trial. In 2023, we advanced the trial. In 2023, we concluded the trial. And in 2023, we announced the top-line results for that trial. I am very excited, and I remain very excited to bring to you the news once again that not only was the top-line results that we announced positive, it also does a few things. Next slide, please. Just for a quick background, the objective of the study allowed us to design and compare our proprietary drug, which we called ZEL007 or just 007 for short, with a multi-billion-dollar pharmaceutical drug, Lyrica. And to do so within the context of an IRB-approved observational clinical trial, which was a multi-arm head-to-head study. The top-line results, we observed that our drug outperformed Lyrica in reducing our primary endpoint, which is a measure of a decrease in the severity of pain as measured by the NRS scale. Not only that, we achieved this with no recorded SAEs, or what we call serious adverse events. Not only that, we analyzed the secondary endpoints, two of which are mentioned in our top-line results, which is the visual analog scale and some measures of the short-form McGill scores. And we also observed that our study met those endpoints. Why are we excited about this? One of the reasons we're very excited about this is that our drug, one, demonstrated improved efficacy, was tolerable, and by the measure of NRS, which is a decrease in the severity of diabetic nerve pain, when you compare it with a market leader such as Lyrica, that is a known drug in that space, an established leader, and from a commercial perspective, has peak year sales of over $5 billion. This energizes our company, frankly speaking, and we are very excited to move on and to progress this to evaluating this drug within the context of formal trials, formal FDA clinical trials, as part of our exciting launch, learn, and develop strategy. So in 2023, next slide, please. In 2023, not only did we achieve or complete this study, we were able to once again validate this very exciting strategy that we created at Zelira. And we are validating to be quite successful, what we call the launch, learn, and develop strategy. This slide just summarizes us and reminds us why we're excited about this strategy. One, it allows us to launch drugs into the marketplace. It allows us to generate this proprietary formulations, protect them, the IP behind them, generate some revenue around it, and do it with a very, very lean and focused, targeted capital expenditure. Not only that, while the products are generating revenue in the marketplace, we then are able to collect real-world patient data, both from the clinic and in form of outcome surveys, but also we're able to use that data to either refine the product or to meet or respond to market needs. And then all of that data, we then have it as a confidence booster, to put it simply. It increases our confidence before we even go into a traditional trial. Next slide, please. As you would see in the case of Hope 1, where we did just that. We launched Hope into multiple markets and multiple jurisdictions across the world. We then layered on top the product launches in those jurisdictions, real-world studies, both in clinical settings and within what we call grassroots patient outcome studies. We analyzed the data we received. We reported them in form of white papers, and in some cases, peer-reviewed clinical publications. Not only that, we have live videos of the use of this drug. And this particular slide actually has live links, which I believe in previous presentations allows you to click and access those on our website. So, and I encourage our shareholders to please do that. But what is exciting is our launch and learn piece of the model. We applied it to one of our assets, actually more of our assets, but in this case, our Hope asset. And now we're excited to then use all of that information to then move into the third phase of that strategy, which is the develop phase. Next slide, please. As such, the FDA trials that we announced represent that final stage, the develop stage of our launch and develop strategy that we use to clinically validate, and rapidly commercialize products. To summarize all of that and why we remain excited and why we are confident going into this phase is one, again, within our launch and develop, we launched the products in multiple jurisdictions, in Pennsylvania, in Australia, in Washington, D.C., and in Louisiana. And then when we looked at just the data for one of the jurisdictions I mentioned, which is Pennsylvania, over a period of 3 years, we observed that over 9 million doses of Hope had been dispensed in Pennsylvania alone with no negative safety signals. That learning layered on top of the fact that all of those sales were out-of-pocket payments. Why is that significant? That means that parents of children or wards living with symptoms of ASD went and purchased repeatedly this medicine. That gave us several indications around safety, indications around efficacy within a real world evidence context. We then took all of that, took our drug, which is currently in a tincture format, then applied our Zelira technology to convert our current tincture format into a pharmaceutical-grade free-flow capsule form. And then we're using that, we're bringing it into the formal clinical trials, which we announced and officially started in July of this year. Next slide, please. So that's why we're very excited, and we called it one of the major milestones of 2023, where we announced the creation of the special purpose vehicle, as we discussed earlier. It allowed us to attract funds. We were able to receive commitments from investors to the tune of over $11 million. And Zelira, our team, is focused on raising the balance of those funds into the SPV. And not only that, we have executed, we've closed on 3.25 million of that. We've received funds and we've started the initial phases of that trial. One of the reasons why we're very excited about this is that not only have we done all of that, we've brought on board a very, very capable partner by way of Ingenio as our clinical research partner on this. They have not only the clinical capabilities, but also the regulatory, technical, manufacturing know-how to be able to deliver a successful trial through the clinical phase, also be able to go before the FDA, and also be able to support us during the trial and post-trial, should we be successful into the manufacturing phase. Why? One, they've done this before. They've successfully taken a cannabinoid drug to the FDA and successfully commercialized it with their US-based partners. So we have an Australia-based CRO who has very strong US capabilities and requisite licenses, DEA licenses and FDA licenses to touch a Schedule I product, and regulatory capabilities to go before the FDA, and they've done that successfully. Taken together, we are quite excited about the likelihood of technical success, the likelihood of regulatory success, the very, very much increased likelihood of commercial success because of all the reasons that I have laid out in the previous slide. So we're very, very excited, and we would continue to bring you updates from our progress on the SPV. Next slide, please. Zelira continues to be excited about our very, very exciting portfolio of products, which continues to validate our multiple shots on goal strategy across several indications, both within a traditional RX and a traditional OTC or consumer-based sector. We have launched multiple products across multiple areas of addressable market and in multiple regions of the world. And we continue to expand our capacity to grow these products into global markets via our business development efforts to distribute these assets across the world. And as we crystallize these efforts, we will continue to bring you this exciting news. Next slide, please. I am particularly excited about our achievements within our patent portfolio space. Zelira, at the core of who we are an IP company. We, in the previous year at this same meeting, I think I previously announced to us that we had just a little over 40 patents granted within our company. Zelira shareholders, I'm happy to present to you that this year we've grown our patent granted number from about 42 to about 58 granted or patents at Zelira across 9 therapeutic areas. We're prosecuting over 100 patents waiting for approval in over 26 different countries across the world. Very specifically, I'm very excited to bring to you news that in the year 2023, the United States Patent and Trademark Office granted the patent for HOPE, the drug we're taking into the FDA clinical trial. And I represent here the ceremonial copies that we received for this granted patent. This is quite exciting, as well as all the other patents that have been granted. Our portfolio continues to grow. Our portfolio is quite exciting. This creates a unique value for our company, even on our balance sheet, when you value what we are and who we are as a company. Next slide, please. Why are we excited about the next few months, looking ahead? What are our priorities within Zelira? One, we have prioritized product development. We believe that it's very important that we apply the technology that we have within our Zelira platform to our current product assets. One of our foremost leading product groups is our drug Zenivol for the treatment of insomnia. And in this year, we've begun to work on transforming Zenivol from the current tincture format into a solid oral capsule for the market needs. So we're quite excited as we look ahead. Next slide, please. Another reason why we should be excited as a company looking forward, in addition to advancing product development, is that we're advancing the clinical validation of these key assets that we have within our company. And we're doing so currently with the launch of the HOPE-1 SPV and the clinical trials, the FDA-facing clinical trials on that, as well as the diabetic nerve trial that we've announced top-line results for. Full results will come in soon, as well as advancing it, hopefully, through formal trials in the coming months. As a company, we remain focused on being lean in our management of resources. We thank our in 2023, we thank our current shareholders. In addition to our current shareholders, we attracted new investment and brought new investors into the Zelira family. We continue to do this with a focus on managing our resources very, very efficiently. And I do so because I am supported by a board of directors that are, one, focused, two, have deep and broad experience in finance, in the pharmaceutical space, and have a clear vision and allow me to lead a clear vision for the company. In doing so this year, it's also important to note that we brought on 2 new board members. We added Greg Blake as our executive director from Australia. He's joining us on this call from our Perth office. And we also added Dr. Donna Gentile O'Donnell from the United States, and she's joining us virtually. We're very, very excited about these additions. I am very, very pleased to work alongside this group of people as they continue to support the vision of Zelira. Thank you very much to our shareholders once again. I continue to ask that you continue to support us as I pass it back to our chairman, Mr. Osagie Imasogie. Thank you.
Dr. Odumosu, thank you for your presentation. We're now at the stage in our AGM where, if there are any questions, participants should please follow the instructions that we discussed earlier on in terms of submitting your questions.
You can change.
Do we have any questions right now?
No questions received.
Okay. There being no questions, no further questions, we will move on to the formal business of today's meeting. I table for consideration the annual financial report of the company for the financial year ending 30 June 2023, together with the reports by directors and auditors thereon. Does anyone wish to discuss any aspects of these accounts or have any questions